Welcome to Watch Mojo, and today we're looking at resilient video game enemies that are pretty hard for players to kill. But we won't be including any bosses on this list.
Never are alive here. Not even the outer defenses can repel them.
Number 30. Mutators, Dead Island 2. There are all kinds of undead variants you're confronted by in Dead Island 2. Some are beefier than others, but the mutators are by far the most formidable. They look like regular zombies at first, until they obviously mutate into the stuff of nightmares. These horrid enemies have no weaknesses and have multiple attacks to wield against you from a variety of ranges. They're also ridiculously durable, so you may as well get used to using your most powerful resources against them. The one saving grace and what keeps them low on the list is that you can kill them before they mutate. If you don't, you'll wish you had. Number 29. Giant Crabs, Dark Souls 3. From Software's games are full of foes that become notorious among players. As far as non-bosses go, the giant crabs in Dark Souls 3 are certainly some of the hardest to kill. Just because they're giant doesn't mean they're slow, as they'll come scuttling up to you as soon as they lay their eyes on you. And as you might expect, those pinchers are absolutely brutal, pummeling you into the earth unless your parry or dodge timing is perfect. Seasoned players know how to deal with them now, but there's a reason they became so infamous, as they'll kill you multiple times in a row before you realize how to retaliate, or just avoid them altogether. Number 28. Super Battle Droids, Star Wars Republic Commando.
Reporting. Running into a little droid trouble.
Better get used to seeing a lot of bullet sponges on this list. Since Republic Commando gives you no lightsaber or force powers to wield, you'll find you have plenty of tough enemies to go up against. Chief among them are the Super Battle Droids. Whatever type of metal these things are made out of must be of the highest and rarest variety, because they can take a multitude of blasts and just keep coming. Unsurprisingly, you can spend a lot of ammo and undergo a lot of stress taking one of these things on. Naturally, it doesn't just sit there and take it, unleashing heavy firepower on your squad.
Reporting. Running into a little droid trouble. 07 here.
Number 27. Volatiles, Dying Light series. It's common practice these days for zombie games to include special, ultra-powerful enemies that can create the same fear of seeing a horde all on their lonesome. In Dying Light, you have the Volatiles. Only appearing at night, these things are fast, strong, and highly resistant to anything you can throw at them. And it isn't as if this series is known for supplying you with a lot of powerful firearms anyway. Every encounter with a volatile is drenched in tension. If you choose to grit your teeth and take them down, you better be prepared for a challenge. If you go the safer route by sprinting towards the nearest safe zone, they still won't be so eager to give up on their prey. Number 26. Severed, Returnal.
A living sentient.
Returnal surprised a lot of players with how difficult it could be, and there are plenty of regular enemies that make it so. The honor of hardest to kill, though, goes to the Severed. They start showing up in the Crimson Wastes, the game's second region, and they are by far more difficult than anything that comes before them. What really makes them a nuisance is their ability to teleport right next to you. Even though they leave a trail behind that shows where they'll pop up, this is an absolute nightmare to deal with in a game where keeping your distance is so important. They have multiple powerful attacks too, giving players more than a few reasons to fear them. Number 25. Bloaters, The Last of Us series. A late stage of infected in the Last of Us universe, bloaters have developed thick, hardened plating all over their body, and so if you want to take one down, you'll be using a lot of resources. It doesn't help that they tear off chunks of their mushroom armor and toss it at you like grenades, or that their strength is so mighty you're as good as dead if they catch you. You can try to keep your distance since they're pretty slow, but the games usually only confront you with one when you're in a tight liminal space. Every time one appears, it's a perfect oh crap moment, as everyone knows they're in for one hell of a fight. Number 24. Honey Badgers, Far Cry 4. If you scoffed at the idea of a honey badger being on this list, then you clearly haven't played Far Cry 4. Even in a landscape full of other deadly predators and armed henchmen, nothing here will cause you more fear or pain than the honey badger. What makes them so difficult to kill is their size and speed. They'll dart across your screen with immense velocity, causing you to spray bullets wildly. It'll usually be for naught though. When they catch you, they'll tear off chunks of your health with their vicious teeth and claws. Sure, it's hilarious, but that doesn't negate the fact that, if you can, honey badgers are to be avoided. Number 23. Hunters, Halo series. Across the Halo franchise, players have faced hordes of hardy enemies, but none of the smaller forces can hold a candle to the Hunters. These brutes always come with thick armor as well as a shield that makes it challenging to even shoot them, let alone damage them. The shield can deal detrimental damage should a Hunter choose to use it against you, but they also come armed with massive guns, able to dish out worse than you'll likely be able to give. They're one of the most intimidating foes Master Chief has ever had the misfortune of facing. Fighting them on harder difficulties is a major test, separating the casual players from the pros. Number 22. Raven Tengu, Neo. Taking inspiration from Software's Souls-like formula, Neo is one of the hardest games of the 2010s, and with enemies like Raven Tengu, it's easy to see why. Like many enemies in this genre, it's a matter of figuring out patterns and openings. Simple to say, but clearly hard to pull off. The Raven Tengu can deal a hefty amount of damage with any attack, putting you down in mere moments. Trying to dodge is a huge risk, as their attacks also cover a huge range and will likely end up hitting you anyway. It's not as if they're that durable. They can just kill you so quickly that you'll undergo a lot of trial and error before you finally come out victorious. Number 21. Spear Adept Monks, Sekiro Shadows Die Twice. Among the different types of Senpo monks found in Sekiro, the Spear Adepts are the undisputed worst. Hitting them can be tough since they're so damn quick. Even when you do, their blocking skills are so on point that you likely won't deal any damage anyway. It doesn't help that they're also ridiculously aggressive. The ferocity and speed in which they attack you is unparalleled, and since this is a From Software game, it doesn't take many of their attacks to land before you're in the ground. They're bad enough on their own, but when they come in pairs, that level of frustration matches and in some cases surpasses some of the most notorious bosses the studio is known for. Number 20. Shambhala Guardians, Uncharted 2 Among Thieves.
What is this?
As Nathan Drake, his allies, and his enemies reach the mystical city of Shambhala, they all come into conflict with its residents. Turns out, they're extremely protective of their home and have used the Tree of Life's sap to increase their strength and stamina. And that spells bad news for everyone.
What are those things?
Hard to kill, that's what.
I know, right? What are we supposed to do? Any ideas?
The Shambhala Guardians are your classic late-game bullet sponges. You can unload a full clip into one and it'll still be bounding your way. They also come equipped with powerful crossbows, able to put you down in mere moments. As problematic as these Guardians are, it's still fun seeing them rip through your enemies. Number 19. Dry Bones, Super Mario series. These Koopa skeletons may not look like much, and they're far from the most aggressive enemy, but their durability is honestly impressive. No matter how many times Mario jumps on its head, causing the body to crumble, dry bones will always get back up after a few seconds. First appearing in Super Mario Bros. 3, the only way to permanently destroy one was to use a Star or Hammer Bros suit, both pretty rare to come across. They've gotten easier and harder to deal with depending on the game. The inclusion of the Ice Flower in the new Super Mario Bros. Series was a godsend, but in Galaxy, you could only use a star or lure it into a trap using the environment. Number 18. Juggernauts, Call of Duty series. We've all been there. You're being swarmed by enemies and out comes one of the big guns. You pour buckets of bullets into them and yet they still won't go down. That's your experience with the Juggernauts from Call of Duty. Although they're encountered in many games, those found in the Modern Warfare series are by far the worst. They carry their cover with them in the form of some of the strongest body armor around. Depending on the game, some can even be more heavily armored and wield miniguns. Whether it be in Special Ops, Survival, or just the campaign, the Juggernauts will test your patience and surely test your mettle. Number 17. Chrysalids, XCOM 2. Developer Firaxis Games increased the difficulty in this sequel in numerous ways. One of the most obvious was in the Chrysalid enemy, made significantly stronger over its predecessor. Similar to the first game, Chrysalids can infect any organic matter, whether it be a civilian or a member of your team. This forms a cocoon which will spawn up to 3 new Chrysalids and cause players to be overwhelmed through sheer force. The way in which they use the battlefield was also improved. They can leap to tall buildings, move with alarming speed, and can burrow underground. Their burrow ability makes them much harder to hit and gives them a chance to ambush you even if it's your turn. Number 16. Tremor Tusks, Horizon Forbidden West. Aloy has to battle a multitude of tough machines along her adventures. A special shout out goes to the Rockbreaker, which hides underground and surprises you from below. As troublesome as that is, Forbidden West gave us the walking bulldozers that are the Tremor Tusks. These mammoth-inspired enemies naturally dwarf Aloy in size, and they've got the defensive and offensive capabilities to match. Physical attacks, both short and long range, as well as fire, plasma, and electric attacks give it a wide range of ways to annihilate you. It may be slow, but its sturdy armor plates make up for this downside. Even if you manage to destroy one of its weak points, the Tremor Tusk will not be dissuaded. Number 15. Berserkers, Gears of War series.
A berserker. She can hear us. She can smell us.
The Locust Horde is for sure an intimidating force, but some of its members definitely hit harder than others. Berserkers are the less common female variant of a Locust drone, and they are far more powerful than their male counterparts. These enemies may be blind, but their heightened smell and hearing makes that a non-issue. They also get their name from the fact that they're in a constant state of rage and will come barreling towards any foe like a freight train. Try and shoot it all you want, its skin is extremely resistant to gunfire. Any weapon that emits flame will weaken them for further damage, but other than that, best of luck.
How about we never do that again?
Yeah, That works for me.
Number 14. Regenerators, Ghost and Goblin series. Capcom's Ghost and Goblin series consists of some of the most challenging platformers ever made. Most of the enemies are ruthless, but chief among them is the Regenerators. These winged demons like to fly high above poor Arthur, swiftly diving down on him with little chance to defend himself. Depending on which power-up you have equipped, they'll probably be extremely hard to hit and likely take more than one shot to go down. But as Arthur can only be hit twice before its curtains, these so-called regular enemies seem more powerful than you. Since these games don't usually offer a way to save, we approach every Regenerator with the utmost caution. Number 13. Noken, God of War Ragnarok.
You hear that?
It's always cool seeing how God of War adapts mythological figures and monsters to suit its gameplay. But Sony could have left this thing buried in the annals of history and we would have been completely okay with it. The Noken are some of the physically weakest enemies in the game, but they never travel alone, boosting their allies so that they constantly heal from whatever blow you deal them. Though you can hear them chanting to perform this skill, they're also usually hiding. All it takes is one encounter with an endlessly healing ogre courtesy of this little gremlin to make you lose your cool. And gods help you when it's boosting a group of enemies.
Nothing good can come of this noise.
Number 12. Deathclaws, Fallout series. There are a great many predators roaming the wasteland of Fallout, but the Deathclaws are the apex variety. While they're not quite so bad in some games, if you come across one in 3 or New Vegas, it's probably best if you keep your distance. That's a whole lot easier said than done, however, as they tend to move blindingly fast. They're also extremely durable, soaking up most bullets as you can spray their way. Unfortunately, they aren't usually found alone either, so you'll likely have a pack to deal with at a time. Of course, you can always take the necessary precautions in enhancing your character and weapons to make them easier, but that takes supreme preparation. Number 11. Twitchers, Dead Space series. Anyone familiar with the Dead Space series knows you have to always try to keep necromorphs at arm's length because they'll absolutely make you regret it if you don't. Therefore, one that moves ridiculously fast is bound to be an issue. It's entirely likely that a Twitcher will dodge most of your gunfire before it reaches you. It's this erratic and unpredictable movement that makes them so hard to kill. However, when it bears down upon you, it'll proceed to slice and dice off chunks of your health bar before you can even think. It's one of the most vicious necromorph variants in the entire series, which is saying quite a lot. Number 10. Marauders, Doom Eternal. Throughout the Doom series, players have taken on countless hordes of vile demons, Yet, it wasn't until 2020's Eternal that they were introduced to the toughest enemy in the series. Once Night Sentinels, the Marauders were resurrected and turned demonic. Since they originally belonged to the same group of heroes as you, that means they'll have a lot of nifty tricks to make your life hell.
My eyes have been opened. Let me help you to see, Slayer.
They've got a variety of attacks for different ranges, can summon a wolf, and are either immune to or resistant against several of your weapons. Furthermore, there's only a brief window when they're open to attack, which just so happens to be in the middle of a lunge. So yeah, that's wonderful. Number 9. Focus, Zelda 2: The Adventure of Link. When Lynel's transitioned to 3D in Breath of the Wild, Nintendo gave them a significant boost in power. But let's be real, if the Focus are ever given an update, we're all doomed. So far, these capable Bird Knights have only been seen in Zelda 2, a notoriously tough entry in the series. They're also only found in the final dungeon, but they're definitely a quality over quantity type of foe. They act similar to Iron Knuckles, except that they can also jump and shoot beams from their swords. They're also beefy enough to survive the Thunder Spell, which normally kills all normal enemies on a screen. Both the red and blue variants deal heavy damage to Link, but the latter has twice as much health. Number 8. Revenants, Elden Ring. Each FromSoft release overflows with enemies that are a pain to kill, and the Revenants of Elden Ring are no different. Looking like a twisted combination of human and spider, they certainly showcase the developer's traditionally unnerving design. But what makes them harder than other enemies is their ability to teleport. If there's more than one around you, another will almost certainly pop up behind you. Their elongated bodies make dodging and escaping nigh impossible. Many players have declared Revenants the game's most hated enemy for good reason. Thankfully, the AoE of your healing spells can actually damage them. It's pretty fitting considering that they'll make you do a lot of healing. Number 7. Malboro, Final Fantasy series. These overgrown plant monsters are one of the oldest enemies in Final Fantasy, having first appeared in the second ever installment. Sometimes bosses, sometimes not, they've only grown more annoying over the years. Originally, some of their attacks can cause different status ailments. However, they quickly gained what would become their signature ability, Bad Breath. This is almost always a Malboro's opening attack, which will give your party members several status effects at once. If it weren't for this, they might not be so bad to deal with. But since you're forced to spend your opening moves getting rid of these ailments, that leaves you open to further attacks. If we never came across one of these again, it would be too soon. Number 6. Tanks, Left 4 Dead series. The Left 4 Dead games offer hours of multiplayer mayhem with legions of undead to mow through and special classes of infected to keep things fresh. The tank is certainly the most resilient of these variants, as he's essentially what would happen if the Hulk was bitten by a zombie. You may be doing your best to survive when, all of a sudden, you'll hear a mighty roar that signals he's about to stampede through everything and everyone. there's little you can do to keep from being knocked to the ground, and it usually takes a team's combined efforts to be able to put this big boy down. Number 5. Shark Giants, Bloodborne. Shark Giants may only be found in the Old Hunters DLC, and there may only be a handful of them, but they do exceptional work with the little time that they're given. And by exceptional work, we mean pummeling us into the dirt with ease. These lumbering foes only need to land a couple of hits before you're nothing more than fish food. Their attacks include a charge slide, which covers a ton of ground and is extremely hard to dodge, and a grapple where they can eat you whole. Naturally, their health pool is much larger than yours, and you'll probably have to spend your time chipping away. It's just as intimidating as a fight against a massive humanoid shark should be. Number 4. E.M.M.I, Metroid Dread. It's never a good time when robots turn evil. Samus Aran may be a badass space bounty hunter, but even she has a rough go with the E.M.M.I. These specialized bots are sent by the Galactic Federation to planet ZDR to investigate the return of a deadly parasite. Unfortunately, they're corrupted to attack you, and they're highly durable. Only by charging her arm cannon at special locations does Samus earn the power to dispose of them. However, each subsequent one comes equipped with a more troublesome ability, like the yellow E.M.M.I's immense speed or the blue one's ability to freeze you. Their environments also get trickier to navigate as you fight to survive. Number 3. Banshees, Mass Effect 3. The Banshees of Irish folklore sound like they'd be incredibly hard to deal with, but we'd honestly take our chances with those instead of the ones found in Mass Effect 3. They have some of our least favorite enemy skills in video games, including a possible one-hit kill and the ability to teleport. Of course, like the mythological figures, they'll also wail, producing an AoE blast. This is a perfect time for them to regenerate their shield since you can't get too close to them, which they will frequently do. It's no wonder they're always found leading a Reaper strike force. We'd put them in charge too.
That's the last one.
For now.
Number 2. Big Daddies, BioShock. There are many things about BioShock that impress players, from its mind-bending story to its addictive gameplay to the iconic Big Daddies. These behemoths are physically altered to be immensely strong and psychologically trained to protect little sisters. It's highly likely you'll come across one long before you can handle it. And if you try, the Big Daddy will show surprising speed for his size and promptly turn you into mush. Being both a sponge for bullets and your powerful plasmids, each one will eat a lot of your resources before it finally shuffles off this mortal coil. Just make sure you've got a lot of room to maneuver before taking these baddies on.
Before we continue, be sure to subscribe to our channel and ring the bell to get notified about our latest videos. You have the option to be notified for occasional videos or all of them. If you're on your phone, make sure to go into your settings and switch on notifications.
Number 1. Regenerators, Resident Evil 4. The zombies of Resident Evil are surprisingly durable for rotting corpses. Crimson heads from the first game's remake may look like normal undead, but are much stronger and faster. Regenerators from the fourth game, however, are even worse. They may still be slow moving, but they're usually found in cramped spaces. As befits their name, they can regenerate limbs, which means your knife and small firearms are basically useless. You'll be spending precious grenades and shotgun shells on these jerks unless you use the rifle's thermal scope to see their weak points. Even still, one of its weak points may be on its back, forcing you to move behind it. No matter how you do it, these suckers put up a mighty fight. Is there a tough to kill enemy you feel we left off? Be sure to share your thoughts in the comments.